Welcome back everyone, this is GTA Failer. This video is all about unique jumps. So I started a brand new save file for the purposes of this video, and the question I had for myself was, how many of the 20 unique jumps can be done with a tank? So that's what we're going to see in this video. So here's the first one. They're not in any particular order. I'll do Portland first, and then Staunton, and then Shoreside. Note that I'm only going to show you the successes, not my many failed attempts. So you're not getting an accurate sense of how um, quickly I was able to do each of these unique jumps. Some of them were tricky. I'll try to point out the tricky ones when I get to them. This one, I think it took a few times to get enough speed to get up onto the subway tracks there, but we got there in the end. One nice thing about doing this particular challenge, recording the footage for this challenge, is that I was able to save the game anywhere I wanted to, and then just plop a tank right next to me using the cheat code "Give us a tank," and so it was very quick to start anew. Anytime I failed a jump, I could just reload the save state, and within a few seconds, I'd be back in exactly the right spot, ready to try again. So some of the jumps took a lot of attempts, but the attempts all happened rapidly, one after the other, which was kind of nice. Okay, so while I continue to work on the 20 jumps, I'm going to read to you a little bit from the GTA 3 manual. I'll also say that I don't believe that all 20 of these jumps are possible with the tank. And so, hope you don't have your hopes up that I'm going to figure out how to get all 20 of them done. I don't think that all 20 are possible. So I'll show you the ones that I don't think are possible and why. But from the manual, which I have in my hands, there's 2 pages on the local gangs, so I figured I would just read some of the highlights about the 7 gangs that we came to know and love. So the 7 gangs that are listed here are the Leone family, the Triads, the Yakuza, the Diablos, the Southside Hoods, the Colombian Cartel, and the Yardies. Remember, the Southside Hoods are the combination of the Red Jacks and the Purple Nines. Okay, so about the Leone family, headed up by Salvatore Leone. Business is protection, extortion, and robbery. Their fronts are restaurants and clubs. Their style is charming, smart, traditionally well-dressed, strong Sicilian family. Yeah, okay, that was good. Characteristics, loyalty to the family above all else. Strong family values, very traditional. Their wheels are limos supplied by Joey Leone. Moving on to the Triads. Their businesses are protection, laundry, and bullying the mafia. Their front is artificial mackerel factory, more fish, less skipper. I guess that's the slogan. Their style is heavily tattooed. This one was tricky for me as well because I needed to kind of go around the bend to get enough speed, and to successfully land this, I don't think you're allowed to hit either of the bridges on either side of you. So I had to really get straight on that hill. I mean, you can see I did hit that bridge there on the right-hand side, but typically you get disqualified if you hit the bridge. Maybe I hit it far enough away from the jump to get credit. I don't care. It counts. Leave me alone, officers. I'm doing science. Coming back to the Triads, their style is heavily tattooed. This is also a tough one for me. Like, even in my regular 100% run where I do this with a sports car, it's still a tough jump for me. Again, you can't hit the bridge on either side. The Triads' characteristics: intensely loyal and obsessively territorial maniacs. Their wheels are laundry vans. The Yakuza has businesses of gambling, protection, and counterfeiting. Their front is casinos. Their style is impeccably dressed. Their characteristics: traditional Japanese organized crime syndicate that is centuries old. Honor, loyalty, efficiency are key, and it's a patriarchal hierarchy, which is not quite right? Because Asuka is the top dog, and I think Kenji, until we murdered him, is second in command. Okay, moving on to the Diablos. Right below their name, it says El Burro is back. Their style is denim, trainers, red bandanas, and slicked back hair. This one wasn't as tough as I thought it would be. I was worried that I wouldn't even be able to fit around each of these trees. You got to go left and then right, but it was fine. The characteristics of the Diablos: Hispanic street gang, and their wheels are stallions. Well, Diablo stallions. Southside Hoods, their style is gold chains, rings and teeth, branded streetwear. This is the first time I ever made it over those billboards. I guess the tank has a lot of speed when you turn this turret behind you and start blasting away. This one was also tricky for me. I think you have to land like all four wheels or whatever qualifies as wheels on the tank in the landing zone, which is quite narrow and short as well. So you can't land too short or too long. And well, you don't have to stop to get credit. You can fall in the water, but I think you do have to get all four wheels to come in contact with this small concrete patch that I'm on. Okay, here's one of the ones that I don't think is possible because the tank simply does not fit on these going up these stairs. I'll even give you the view from the top of the stairs, I think. And looking back down towards the tank, you just see it's too wide by a lot. So here's our first miss. And if you can come up with a way to do this unique jump in a tank, try it and let me know how it went, or make a video of your own, or put something in the comments with an idea you think I should try, but I'm stumped for how to get that one done in the tank. Okay, coming back to the South Side hoods, gold chains, rings and teeth, branded streetwear, hooded sweatshirts, platinum. Their wheels are Rumpo XL. The Colombian Cartel, let's see here. Their front is freight, like shipping. Their style is snakeskin cowboy boots, jeans, printed shirts, and 10-gallon hats rimmed with gator or snake's teeth. Characteristics are ruthless and disloyal. Wheels are souped up 4x4 chrome buckets, also known as cartel cruisers. This one was very difficult for me, maybe the hardest one with the tank. It's a really small window that you can land in. Like, you had to clear that fence and land in this little area here. It's fine if you shoot out over the ramp, but that took a lot of tries, my goodness. Okay, and then finally the Yardies. Their style is loaded with Caribbean style, dreadlocks and long dark suits. Characteristics: they love penthouse suites and often mark their territory with voodoo charms. Here's the second one that I think is impossible. Again, the tank cannot fit. That box on the right-hand side is preventing me from reaching the ramp right in front of me. If you have suggestions on how to do this one, I am all ears. I actually did have one idea for that one, and that's to do the flying tank. Because it turns out you don't actually need to touch the ramp in order to use a flying vehicle and get credit for the jump. More on that later in this video. But I have very little control of the flying tank. I know it's supposed to be hard to fly anyway, using the cheat code Chitty Chitty BB, which is the flying cars cheat. But I just don't know how to level off my tank. And if I knew how to do that, I think I could do some cool stuff with the flying tank. But I just don't know how to do it. So here's the third and final one that I don't think is possible with the tank. It's just too wide for this set of stairs. Again, I was hoping to try this with the something or other, with the flying tank cheat code, but I can't control the tank well enough to even try to give it a good effort. Okay, just a few left. I think this is number, I don't know what number this is. 18 out of 20. That sounds right. Okay, finishing up with the Yardies. The only thing left to read is their wheels, the Lobo, the Yardi Lobo. Okay, all that from the manual. You can see here how much distance the tank can get. This is way more than I get when I use the Infernus on that jump during my speed run. I can't get nearly as far with the Infernus. Okay, jumps 19 and 20. They're not that hard individually, but I really wanted to string them together. And so I intended to try not to get tangled up in the choppers just on the other side of this warehouse. Choppers are off to the left, and so it took me a lot of attempts to land this and not back into the choppers. And then the second one is quite easy. Doesn't matter what you hit on the other side, but there's not even anything to hit. Okay, so last jump. And so in my experimentation, I was able to do 17 of the 20 unique jumps in the tank. And the 3 that I couldn't do are because the tank is too wide to fit. So again, the first one was on Staunton up the stairs. And the second one, where was the second one? I forget. The third one was the ramp right there at the airport. Was too narrow to accommodate the tank. I don't remember what the second one was. It was over by the compound where you end up in the mission bait, and I just couldn't fit past the boxes there. So again, if you have suggestions for any of those 3 and how to pass them with or without the flying tank cheat code, you let me know. Okay, so you've seen all 20 jumps once, and now you're going to see them all a second time, this time with the Dodo. So again, my question was, how many of these jumps can you do with the Dodo? So the key is that you need to be really close to the ramp but you don't actually have to touch the takeoff ramp. And then you need to land in the accepted landing zone. And we're going to show you just the ending bits. I showed you the whole flight there, but I'm just going to show you the ending bits for each of the other jumps. So this was trickier for me than the tank, just because you have to get the plane really low in order to activate the unique jump slow motion thing. And then you need to land in the dedicated landing zone. And oftentimes the plane will land well past the landing zone. You don't get credit for going too far. It has a beginning and an end, and a right and a left, and you have to land inside of that rectangle. So some of these jumps took an awful long time. Holy cow. And again, do not get your hopes up. I am not able to do all 20 of these in the dodo. So I will show you any that I was unable to do. And again, if you have ideas for how you might do them in the dodo, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'd love to fill the gaps with the tank and the dodo. Okay, and again, you're not getting an accurate sense of how many attempts these things took me because I'm just showing you the one successful attempt, and as soon as I got that one attempt, I moved on with my life. But way more, it took a lot longer for me to record the footage for the Dodo 20 unique jumps compared to the Tank 20 unique jumps. This one in particular, holy cow. Again, you got to get real low, and you got to land in the small landing area, clearing the fence and landing someplace in that section of the compound. Many, many attempts for that particular one. So the dodo doesn't have the same issue in terms of being too big. This was also a very tough one for me because it doesn't actually ever have to hit the ground over at the ramp. It just has to hit the ground at the landing zone. Here I was worried I was too far. I thought you had to kind of land on that roof, but I got credit for landing on the concrete beyond the roof or the sidewalk beyond the roof. So no problems, that I couldn't get the tank to fit in some places. The Dodo is fine with that. But like I said, I couldn't get all 20. So maybe you'll have some ideas for any that I missed with the Dodo. Okay, so we've got one more success in the next clip, and then you're going to see the one that I couldn't do with the Dodo. So here's the one on the rooftop of the parking structure. Pretty straightforward. I'm definitely getting better flying the Dodo. I'm still not great at it, but I'm learning. I'm learning some of the nuances of flying the Dodo, and I've improved for sure in recording the videos for this series. Okay, here's the one that I don't know how to do with the Dodo. It's the same one going up the stairs, and I can't just fly over the ramp because I can't get into the building, and I can't get close enough to the ramp by flying over it in order to activate the slow motion cutscene. So if you have any suggestions on how to pass that particular unique jump through the glass wall and up the stairs using the Dodo, all ears. I don't know how it's possible, but maybe somebody will be very clever and figure out a way. Okay, this was another really tough one for me. I had so many fails that I thought should have been successes, but again, I think I had to land all three wheels on the ground. I had to hit all three wheels on the ground, and oftentimes I would hit like just the front wheel and then flip over the wall and continue into the drink, and I didn't get credit for it. So kind of annoying. This was a tough one. I needed to get a run up around the curve and also hope that there was like no traffic spawning in my way. You can despawn traffic or re-roll the traffic by hitting C like Charlie, 7 times, which just changes the camera and flicks you past the cinematic camera, which I think is specifically the one that re-rolls the traffic. I have a very hard time smashing the C button 7 times in a row at the same time as I drive and try to avoid any cars that still happen to be there or light poles or fire hydrants or whatever. This one I thought I was going to land too far away, but I think this one has a very long landing zone, which is fortunate for me. Almost landed it on top of this other track. That would have been cool. Okay, just a few more. Oh, look out, we're in the water. So I think we've got like 6 left. I think this is 6 left. This particular jump was pretty straightforward. But the one going in the return direction, that's one of my toughest ones when I'm playing this for speed. While we're doing these last few, I'll read for you a little bit from the wiki in the dialogues section, which I didn't even know was a thing, but it's got like all the dialogue for all the different kinds of pedestrians, and there were some that I'd never heard before. And so here I'm going to read to you from the police helicopter. Turns out there's two folks in the police helicopter. And so the co-pilot would say, "Come to daddy." And then the pilot would say, "Hey, give me that," which I didn't understand, like why those two, like I wasn't picturing, two different people in the same chopper when I would hear those lines. Okay. And this was a tough one as well. We got there in the end. Another one for the police helicopter. The co-pilot says, "Prepare to die." And the pilot says, "Hey, that's against regulations." And then the co-pilot says, "We're definitely going to kill you." And the pilot says, "You can't say that. It's not in the book." And the co-pilot says, "You are dead." And the pilot says, "Turn that thing off." So it seems like the pilot is the voice of reason here. That's the moral of the story. Okay, moving on. So I'm showing you the long run up here. This was a very difficult one for me. The one on just the other side of the gap in this whatchamacallit bridge, Callahan Bridge. This was super tough to get low enough to activate the cutscene and then to fly straight enough and to not hit either of the bridges on either side. It's really narrow, left and right, and then just pointing the plane down to land in the landing zone. But we got it. Okay, pilot says, where is it? "You're surrounded." And the co-pilot interrupts, "Give me that microphone. Eat lead." I don't remember hearing that at all. Eat lead. This other one was really tough for me. All the rest of these were really tough for me. This was super hard to get credit for. I had so many that I thought I landed successfully in the street, didn't hit either of the bridges on either side, and didn't get credit. Maybe you need to hit the grass instead of the street. Okay, just two left, I think. And then the last one for the police helicopter: "I prefer a moving target." And the co-pilot, that's the pilot, and the co-pilot says, "You ought to get some help, man." I don't remember seeing that one either. Oh goodness, this was so challenging for me. This was the second to last one, and this was like my best attempt at it, but I thought I was too high, and I didn't think I'd get credit for smacking into that building, but it worked. Count it, count it, count it, count it. Okay, here's the last one. I'm going to show you the entire flight. I haven't sped up the video, but I am using the cheat code Time Flies When You, which plays the game in double speed. So I did this for a lot of my flights over to each jump, and then I would put it in regular speed when I got close to the jump, just to save some time. So this was pretty fun, although at times it was quite frustrating. There were some jumps with the tank and some jumps with the dodo that just took so many attempts. One of them with the dodo, I think the one just going over the Callahan Bridge, that gap in the Callahan Bridge, I think that one took 20 plus minutes, just that one alone. Fortunately, they didn't all take 20 plus minutes. Some of them I got first try. But there was a big difference between the ones that I found easy and the ones that I found tough. And this was a tough one right here. This was the last one I actually did in real time. Here I'm pausing and typing in boring with 5 O's, which puts me back in regular speed instead of double speed. This is the one that ends by the line runner over in Portland Dock. So part of the strategizing here was trying to find a good line, a good route, a good path that didn't have like buildings or poles in the way and would allow me to essentially fly straight in and not hit any other objects and get low enough, super low. I'm out of control here, but I just need to be low enough to get the cutscene. Then I pull up a little bit and then straight down and count it. 20 done, well, 19 done and 1 not done. And I'm going to take a little swim. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you real soon.